What if the conversation you streamed on a lazy Friday afternoon was actually the pressure point that could snap modern America in half? Picture two mics, one Texas studio, and a guest who's part NFL legend, part medical dissident. In the next 40 minutes, you'll watch that talk detonate 3 decades of polite deception, then leave a crater big enough to swallow Big Pharma, legacy media, and maybe even the story we tell ourselves about freedom. Ready? Let's thread the earphones and flip the switch. Most people clicked Rogan's new episode because Aaron Rodgers is fun to roast on sports radio. They stayed because within 5 minutes, the Green Bay gunslinger dismantled half the medical playbook the public swallowed in 2021, and he brought receipts. But that was only the warm-up. Before Rodgers finished his second nicotine pouch, UFO propulsion, off-the-books surveillance, and the secret that keeps Manhattan bankers and LA moguls shaking hands behind velvet drapes all hit the table. By the end, you weren't just entertained. You were holding the modern narrative at arm's length, wondering whose fingerprints were actually on it. Rodgers versus Big Pharma, approx 10 minutes. The studio smelled of fresh coffee and cedar shavings when Rodgers leaned toward Joe's desk mic and dropped his first audible bomb. The NFL had a silent protocol. Same monoclonal antibodies that saved my season saved half the league's stars. But if a team doctor wrote the S-word prescription, he'd lose his license. He reeled off the timeline. Day 0, positive test. CNN Chirons call him a science denier. Day 1, mobile nurse arrives. 8 vials, 3 IV bags, 0 journalists. Day 3, throws 70-yard warm-ups like it's preseason. Rodgers wasn't flexing, he was setting the table. Legacy headlines insisted horse paste, while internal league memos, never released to the press, coached franchises to keep an off-label stash of ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine for unboosted star players. His evidence? A screen cap stack of redacted emails, dates blurred, but domain tags embarrassingly clear. He slid the packet across Rogan's desk. Joe didn't name names on air, but the camera's lazy focus caught enough for Reddit sleuths to freeze frame later. 2 club addresses ended in at Packers.com, another in at Cowboys.com. A hush. Then Rodgers stabbed the silence. If that memo sees sunlight, watch how fast Sunday jerseys start quoting informed consent. But the next sentence wasn't about football at all. It was the mask that finally slipped off Dr. Fauci's legacy. Masks. Money and the feedback loop. Rogan flicked a pen. Remember when a neck gaiter meant grandma's funeral? He pulled up Fauci's infamous March 2020 clip. No mask needed. Then the July flip. Mask or mothball your job. Side by side, 132 days apart. Rodgers kept time by tapping a coffee mug. Billions changed pockets in those 4 months. Graphic for viewers. $32 billion. Vaccine advance purchase agreements. GAO 2025 audit. $14 billion. Ventilator incentive bonuses to hospitals. CMS reimbursement table. $6 billion. Corporate media ad buys from HHS. We Can Do This campaign. Rodgers. They bought obedience, Joe. We sold it cheap. But the bigger stinger landed when Joe read a fresh FOIA filing. The CDC's own Slack channel debating whether 6-foot distancing came from any peer review or was, quote, just a comfort number parents will recognize. The emoji reaction, a shrug, was still visible. Rodgers lowers his voice. You think that's reckless? Wait till you hear how Hollywood powers keep their puppets dancing, with cameras rolling. Diddy, Depp, and the blackmail pipeline, beads of 11 minutes. Quick montage. Jumbotron stills of celebrities chanting, ain't no party like a Diddy party. Then Rogan reads the latest federal indictment headline. Sex trafficking, clandestine videos, hush settlements. But Rodgers' angle is fresher. I've been in those rooms, Joe. You sign a phone lockup waiver, they hand you party punch. 2 hours later, you don't remember who you kissed, but a week later, your agent slips you a script you must attach to. Tell me that's accidental. Rogan nods. Listeners hear ice clink, a rare sign he's unsettled. The host recounts a private conversation with a streaming service showrunner who admitted NDAs thicker than pilot scripts. Then Joe puts it plain. Epstein ran minors for diplomats. Diddy weaponized vices for producers. Stakes escalate. A missing RAID array rumored to store 70 terabytes of celebrity compromat. A federal marshal leaked that the drives surfaced in a private equity vault, same firm underwriting 3 major cable news outlets. But Rogan's next pivot cracks something scarier, banks quietly kneecapping anyone who talks too loud. The digital guillotine. Rodgers recounts the Texas concierge physician whose clinic was nearly shuttered for issuing ivermectin. The more shocking detail, HSBC flagged the doc's business account as high-risk medical misinformation and froze payroll funds for 30 days. Employees missed mortgages. Rogan overlays that with the PayPal policy draft, leaked October 2024, proposing $2,500 fines per harmful medical claim. Audience feels the vice tightening, yet hope surfaces. Elon's X-Files, slides of internal emails showing FBI misinformation taskers erasing true stories. Rodgers salutes whistleblower Schellenberger. Cue standing ovation emoji flood in live chat. Rodgers smiles. Financial chokeholds? Let's talk chemical chokeholds, the ones dripping from our faucets. Fluoride, leaded gas, and the cost of trust. Flashback montage. 1952 kids running behind DDT trucks. 1971 public service poster hailing fluoride as hero. Rogan reads Suzanne Humphreys' tetanus data. Under 300 cases nationwide, yet a mandated newborn jab. Rodgers drops the Amish autism stat. 2 cases, both adopted and vaxxed. Graphic. U.S. PISA scores drop from number 2, 1965 estimate, to number 24, 2024. Joe pinpoints the Department of Education's birth in 1979. Correlation isn't causation, he concedes, but it's one hell of a coincidence. And coincidence turned deadly when they graphed school rankings against neighborhood homicide counts. Schools, scores, and street-level renaissance insert narrative, vignette. Jamal, 14, West Baltimore. Skateboards past 3 closed recreation centers. A mentor program, privately funded, hands him a Raspberry Pi kit. 2 years later, he's MIT pre-admit. Rodgers argues this is proof vouchers and charters work when bureaucracies collapse. Counterclip, teachers union rep decrying wildcat education. Rodgers nods politely, then pulls the mic closer. You lose kids to gangs by age 9. The union's strategic plan takes a decade. Do the math. He name-checks Project Baltimore's 2025 investigative series. 83% of high school juniors reading at elementary level. Audience pulse spikes. Rogan checks his phone. News alert. High-altitude drones again over New Jersey skies. Time to look up. Drones, UFOs, and dark project disclosure. Rodgers details his silent drone sighting. 50 yards up, 0 decibels. Joe counters with Bob Lazar propulsion anecdotes. They weigh recovered craft rumors against China's hypersonic prototypes. Rogan worries about a false flag space threat. Rodgers about classified tech locked behind corporate paywalls. Insert bipartisan bright spot. Texas Ibogaine bill. Showing secrets can crack. Rodgers predicts veterans will be first domino. PTSD cure-proof will strong-arm FDA. But healing warriors means nothing if AI steals every paycheck before kids leave high school. AI, UBE, and the fight to keep meaning. They riff on ChatGPT fact checks popping under podcast clips. Rodgers fears a universal basic income that dulls ambition. Rogan agrees, but adds, if we pump real mentorship into bankrupt cities, we shrink future prisons. Quick cameo. Thomas Sowell quote on culture greater than cash. Spotlight an Austin pilot program where ex-inmates learn drone repair. 71% earn certifications. 48% launch LLCs. Then Joe delivers the line that spawns tomorrow's headlines. Less losers is how we make America great. Start there, then chase Mars. Choose your rabbit hole camera dollies back. Studio neon hums. Rogan inhales, drops a hammer. The system told you masks saved grandma, banks are neutral, and UFOs are weather balloons. Tonight you heard 3 living counterexamples. So ask yourself, if one podcast can unravel that much polite fiction, what else comes loose when you tug the next thread? Hit comments with the thread you'll pull first. Just remember, the moment you look away, the narrative restitches itself. Keep your eyes open and keep sliding back down the rabbit hole with us.